Angry guy here, and men have walked away, and women are begging them not to go. Men have walked away, and women are begging them not to go. Guys, this is what we expected. We expected that the chameleons, we expected that the tradcons, we're really chameleons. We expected that all the different groups would start to come out and say, hey man, don't go. And also look at us. We're not like these other women out here. I saw a video come out from the Filipina P just recently. I mean, like recently, as in like 6 hours ago at the time of making this video. And she titles it, She's Not Yours, It's Just Your Turn. The Dark Side of Female Nature. It's amazing what she's doing here. Because as you can see, she's positioning herself to be like a defender of truth, where now she's agreeing with the men. She's talking continuously about all the horrible things she's seeing in Western society. And, all of the fact that men are getting cheated on over in the Philippines, taken advantage of by Filipinas. She's openly discussing this now. And again, I have nothing against the P, but I find it very interesting that she's doing this. The truth of the matter is that it went from a narrative of you can find a wonderful woman here in the Philippines to, yeah, guys, you do have to be careful. And oh my gosh, look at the things that are happening in Western society. And of course, she's not the only one who's doing it, but guys, a lot of these women are now jumping on the MGTOW bandwagon. I mean, for example, Pearl. Pearl has been doing this a long time, right? Just pearly things. But if you look at most of Pearl's videos, she literally has MGTOW in almost every single video. Like, that's the audience that she's positioning for. And as you can see, this is the direction where things are going. There is becoming a conscious awakening among men that, guys, we're moving from this. No matter what you want to say, we are increasingly moving away from red pill to black pill. Okay. And I know a lot of you are going to say, well, black pill is just terrible. It's kind of nihilistic. But the truth of the matter is that black pill is cut. And the problem where the group is who it's typically associated with, the INCELs, the INCLs. But the truth of the matter is that there are some things that you're just not going to change. For example, when it comes to relationships and dating, unless you are a Chad, unless you are a Tyrone, she will never love you. Let me just make that very clear. Okay? Truth be told, there's only two things that women will ever love unconditionally. All right? Children and pets. And sometimes not even that. Let's go ahead and jump into the video from the P. I find this pretty interesting.
Hi, folks. The Filipina P here, telling it like it is. Now, you've all heard the phrase, she's not yours, it's just your turn, which refers to the belief that you're probably not gonna be her last man. If a woman's had 26 partners, what in the world makes you think she'll stop at you, Mr. 27? That's because women have a built-in hypergamous nature that makes us look for the best possible mate. And the more men we have to compare and to choose from, the more we're tempted to reach for the stars. So where does that leave you guys? Is it still possible to win a game you never asked to play? Now, you might not agree with my take on the subject, and you might tell me I'm full of crap, and that's fine. But I think you'll find I've got a different perspective that you might find useful. A fresh way of looking at things, and something you might have overlooked if you're planning to seek a mate outside the West. But first, let me start with a joke that was written by an 80-year-old woman named Joyce Meyer. You probably heard it before, so I'll paraphrase it. So a new place opened called the Husband Store, and women can go there to choose a mate. There are 6 floors with men of different qualities, and a woman can pick any man she wants. But there are also a few rules. The women can go up 1 floor at a time, but they can never go back down a floor. Once they made their purchase, they have to leave. So a woman enters the store and reads the sign on the first floor. It says, men with jobs. Now, it's great to have a job, but that's not so unusual. So she gets into the elevator and goes to the second floor. The sign reads, men with jobs who love children. She thinks, that's nice, but I'm a pretty good catch. So I want to see who else they got up there. And off she goes to the third floor. The sign says, men with jobs who love children and are extremely good looking. She says, now we're talking. But she's compelled to go up to the fourth floor where the sign says, men with jobs who love kids are drop dead gorgeous and help with housework. She thinks, oh wow, this is almost everything I ever wanted, but I'm not quite ready to bite yet. So she heads up onto the fifth floor, where the sign says, men who have jobs, love kids, are drop dead gorgeous, help with housework, and they're great in the romance department. By this point, she's so tempted to go ahead and pick a husband. But the thought of what could be on the sixth floor is driving her crazy. So she hops on the elevator and heads on up. This floor is completely empty. And the sign reads, you are visitor number 37,498 to the sixth floor. There are no men here. This floor only exists to prove you can't satisfy a woman. Thank you for shopping. At the same time, a wife store opened up across the street. It also has 6 levels. The first floor has wives who love sex. The second floor has wives who love sex and beer. None of the other floors have ever been visited. Not only does that show us that women are hard to please, but it's also a good illustration of hypergamy, which by definition is a woman's natural tendency to marry up, to find the best possible mate. A man who's in a better position than she is. Men, on the other hand, tend to marry down. You don't care about a woman's earning potential or social status, and you're generally much easier to please. You just want a loyal, agreeable woman so you can live a life of peace. Now, the concept of hypergamy is like this horrible boogeyman to you guys. And believe me, I get it. But the term only means marrying up, not trading up after marriage. Every woman has a natural tendency to look for the best mate, just like every man has a tendency to spread his seed around. But that certainly doesn't mean that all men are born to cheat. It's not that women can't help themselves when they see a more lucrative opportunity, just like you guys don't lose control when you see a younger, hotter woman than your wife. Now, a woman who marries one man as a stepping stone to get to another is guilty of monkey branching, which is definitely not okay. You might have had that experience in the West, but it's not something you'll see too much of in the Philippines because it's just not the way Filipinas think. Oh, I want an even bigger house and a younger man, so I'll just stay with this guy until I jump ship when a bigger fish swims by. No, that's not what it's like here. We take marriage much more seriously and only plan on doing it once. If we find a good Filipina, not a pure gold digger, she's not going to be jumping from branch to branch. She just wants to make sure that the first branch she chooses was higher than her own. And in the Philippines, being with a foreigner almost guarantees that. You still don't see that happening quite as much in the Philippines, but it's getting worse compared to decades past. Well, let's look at the obvious culprit. Western brand feminism. Are Filipinos becoming too westernized? Is feminism taking over here too? Whenever I hear that women from developing countries are becoming westernized, I can partly agree, but not in the way you might assume. When you think of westernized women, you probably have images of a scantily clad group of friends having a girls' night out at a club, talking about which one of them just got a promotion at work and how men are useless fools except as occasional bedmates. They might even have blue hair, and their biggest concern is that someone interrupted them when they were speaking. You know who I'm talking about. The fembots. But when you say that Filipinas are becoming westernized, it's not exactly like that here. It's not that we're becoming infected with feminism, although I'm sure some of us are, because the things that need to be present in order for it to spread just don't apply. And here's why. Modern feminism is about a power shift, eliminating the need for a man. Big government is replacing men and taking what they have and giving it to women. But neither of those situations exist in the Philippines. The government ain't helping us. The court system isn't automatically in our favor, and the men don't have anything to take. The idea that women don't need men just doesn't fly here. Having a working husband is important, and it often takes two salaries just to make ends meet. And as far as women deciding not to have kids in order to pursue a high paying career in the Philippines, well, that's ridiculous. First of all, there just aren't any big money jobs here. And secondly, when's the last time you met a Filipina that didn't want kids? It's a totally different mindset from the West. Now, there are plenty of single moms here, raising kids on their own, but it's got nothing to do with feminism. It's a result of poor planning and wishful thinking. Ending up there poor with a baby on each hip isn't exactly our first choice, and there's no safety net to rescue us from our bad decisions. We don't marry a guy and then take him to court to get his stuff, because all too often, the only thing he owns are the clothes on his back and a bottle of Red Horse. An empty bottle of Red Horse.
That was hilarious. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Ultimately, women will always be women everywhere you go. And given the opportunity to do exactly what women have done in Western society, women in the Philippines would do the exact same thing. While it's not going to likely happen right now, let's make it clear that the Sims are helping to mess up the Philippines. They absolutely are, because you have these guys going over there, and they're basically making women in the Philippines say, "Oh, you know what? We deserve more." And what have you done for me lately? Now, don't get me wrong. If they try that game and they lose their foreigner, things could go downhill. But a lot of women in the Philippines are scheming. They are looking to get a guy that's has money, so that they have a plan in place to extract wealth and resources from him. Something that they don't like to talk about in Western society, well, in the Philippines, or even the P doesn't talk about, is the fact that there are some foreigners who end up getting control alt deleted for the house. For example, they go to the Philippines, they build a house over there, and while you're technically not supposed to be able to own property in the Philippines, there's some guys who find a legal loophole to do so by like setting up a LLC, or different, or finding someone that they can work with. But ultimately, when it comes to the Filipina, there are a lot of Filipinas who will delete their husbands for that house. They will control alt delete them for that house, just for the house. And the Sims are so sad. The Sims are so sad because whenever this happens, they'll immediately blame the foreigner and say that he's responsible for it. He had to have done something to the Filipina. Guys, these men worship women. Let me tell y'all something. Do not worship women. And it's sad. These guys, they worship women. They worship the ground that they walk on. They worship the Filipinas. And oh God, I thank God for the Filipina. Oh, I thank God for the Filipina. Oh God, the Filipina, the Filipina, the Filipina, Filipina. Oh God, thank you for the Filipina. My God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. The Filipina is the perfect woman. The Filipina is the perfect woman. Man, you have to wake up and realize that a lot of these guys are just weak. And to be clear, these guys have no self-control. They have no self-control. They really truly believe that the woman that they met the first day that they got there, and that gave it to them the first day that they got there, was sent by God for them. Like, seriously, bro. She immediately started talking about marriage the day that you met her. God sent her to me. God said this was my soulmate. Bro, she's not your soulmate. You right? It would have been you or any other guy. It would have been you or any other guy. There's a lot of Filipinos who say that they're looking for guys who are older. The older, the better. Why do they say the older, the better? Because the older, the better. They can, the sooner they're going to pass away. Most of these Filipinos are young. A Filipino will look at it and say, okay, well, I'm 23 years old. The foreigner is 73 years old. Math is on my side. The math is on and she's absolutely right. She's 100% right. Because, how much longer is this guy really going to have? 10 years? 20 years tops? And what is she going to get out of the relationship? A house, money, tons of things. By the time this guy passes away, chances are she's in her what do you call it? In her 30s maybe. In her 30s, sometimes even still in her 20s. But but a lot of times she'll be in her 30s by the time he's gone. By the time he's left this reality. And how much does she have? She has, when he's gone, she has significantly more than even a lot of women in Western society, because all of the money that he was able to save, and all of this other stuff, she's gonna be able to get that. She's married to him. She's married to him. It's crazy. And even just outside of that, the amount that she'll have, by the time he passes, she'll have a house, maybe multiple houses. She'll have a car, maybe multiple cars. She'll have tons of possessions. She'll have money in the bank stacked. So she'll have all of these things by the time he passes away. And she can then go out and find another simp to go and rinse and repeat. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Men have walked away and women are begging them not to go. What do you guys think regarding this? I want to hear your thoughts on this, so let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.